Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio, yet for another fan reaction after the Juventus-Milan match, which ended 3-1 at the Juventus Stadium. I'm with Adamo Ritaco. Adamo, another disappointing result, of course, 3-1 against Juventus at the Juventus Stadium. Were you kind of expecting this result altogether, or were you expecting something more from Milan?
Well, I was more so expecting this result, even though I predicted that we'd get a draw. But just as we mentioned earlier, the midfield it was just way too overrun by Juve's in the sense that they were far superior. Practically every midfielder they have is world class, and ours are much below that. Even Poli, probably the best midfielder in that trio that we had today, isn't even world class. So it's going to be pretty expected that we get dominated. But in the first half, it was decent because we pressured, we got chances. There were some arguable calls, but the ref was just being kind of a moron the entire game. But just overall, I think Milan could have done a lot better in the first half. Second half was a lot worse in my opinion. Players like Alex, who did decent in the first half, started losing pace of the game and really lost control. Got completely beat by Tevez. Paletta was decent. Didn't make too many mistakes. It was kind of solid. Just needs to shave his head really badly. And Antony, for me, was arguably the man of the match for Milan alongside Diego Lopez.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you kind of covered everything right there. Well, good points, but yeah, honestly, Milan, as you said, lacking in many departments, and of course, as you could see on paper, pretty much the difference shows once it comes on the pitch. Really, it's we're speaking about two teams on two different levels. One which is already set and built, and another one which is still under construction, really. So you can just pretty much mention it right there. That is a major difference between the two teams. Now, I know the ref kind of pissed you off, Adamo. Reading by your tweets today, I guess you were kind of mad. You want to emphasize a bit on that?
Well, it's annoying because all these calls and everything that's going on, it's aggravating because even if, let's say, all these talk about Juventus still cheat and whatever, but just overall it's just so, I don't understand how. I get that referees, they're in difficult positions, and it's hard for them to really go under pressure, especially with linesmen. It's hard to call. But there's a lot of calls that are so, like, it's just odd to me how they don't get it. It's just, even for Juventus, they made some silly calls. Like, there was a handball by, I think it was like SCN. They don't even see it. Pazzini gets a nice slap right to the face with
And
an
the elbow.
elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the elbow as well by Chiellini. Nothing happens. Like, I don't get how you don't see that, because I can understand maybe one referee in the entire match, but there's six officials on the pitch. I don't get how not one of them can see any of these calls going on. It's just, overall in the Serie A season, they've just been poor this far, and I think they need to get at least better referees or have them more concentrated.
Yeah, we're not here to make any excuses, guys, for Milan's play, of course. Don't worry about that. But it's just there to point out that the referees are also not quite doing their job, you know? Sometimes they say collaborating with the players and so forth, up to a certain point. But afterwards, guys, when you see some bad calls, now, people are going to say, yeah, Tevez' goal was offside and everything. It kind of was offside, but it was so tight that you can't just see it at one given moment. But there's just so many of those decisions that they always seem to get wrong. I mean, that's a real deal over there. So hopefully that gets fixed sooner than later, of course. But Adamo, one final thought. Of course, many talks are speaking about Conte replacing Inzaghi at the end of the season. What do you think about that? Do you think the problem is actually the coach? I mean, we saw some very bad decisions altogether by Inzaghi today, especially keeping Essien and Montari on for 90 minutes. But do you think it's actually a problem with the coach or some of the players in this unit?
Overall, in my opinion, it's just my personal opinion. Obviously, blame has to go to Inzaghi for a lot of things. But the way I see it, as you can't really blame Inzaghi as much as you can blame the management, because the management are the people who hired him. And it's not like Inzaghi was this coach that was like touted to be this amazing coach. He's been a coach for like 10 years. He coached at Real Madrid or something. He's not Ancelotti, where he has all this experience or something, or even Conte that did amazing at Juve. So you can't really expect much from him. So what you get is what you get. It's like getting, like I always say, like a Serie C player, bringing him to Milan and then getting mad at the player because he can't perform. It's not his fault. It's like the same situation with Matri when we first signed him. A lot of us, and even I, was mad at him, but really you have to blame the management because they're the ones who signed him, and he can only do as good as he can be. So I do more so blame the management, but I do think Conte, if he were to come, it'd be an upgrade over Inzaghi. It's a given, really. He's a much more motivational coach, more tactically sound, more experienced. Obviously, still a very young coach in the hindsight of all the other coaches around him, but he really let a fire up Milan Spurs' asses. That's what we need. But that's what Inzaghi tries to instigate, but there's too many distractions around Milan for that to really work. So I do think it's more so the management, but I wouldn't mind getting Conte. You know, it would be definitely an upgrade, but I don't think the main problem is Inzaghi.
Well said, Adamo. Great insight once again. That is it, guys. Thank you for joining me. Of course, don't forget to follow Adamo at Adamo Ritaka on Twitter. Great insight on Milan and so forth. You can find his Twitter handle in the description if you guys don't know how to pronounce his name. But besides that, guys, don't forget to subscribe to Rossoneri TV to stay updated with everything AC Milan. We'll cover it all for you guys. Thank you for watching, and as usual, Forza Milan.